The fossil of a giant dinosaur. Scientists have just discovered the fossil of a new dinosaur species in Australia. This is considered one of the largest dinosaur species ever discovered in the world to date. It is estimated that this dinosaur stood about 5 to 6.5 meters tall and measured 25 to 30 meters in length. In other words, this dinosaur was about the length of a basketball court and as tall as a 2-story building. This helps make this dinosaur the largest species ever discovered in Australia. This is one of the 5 largest dinosaur species in the world and belongs to the Titanosaurus group, previously discovered in South America. Paleontologists have named this species fossil Australortitan, and it is hailed as the giant of the South. Today, giant dinosaur skeletons are preserved in museums around the world, but they are very heavy and fragile. Therefore, scientific research becomes extremely difficult. The research team from the Eromanga Museum of Natural History and the Kisaran Museum applied advanced 3D technology during their work. Create a skeletal model framework of the Australortitan for comparison with other dinosaur species. The research results indicate that this is an entirely distinct species compared to the sundews from Kisaran and other regions worldwide. Paleontologists have just made an astonishing discovery. A species of sea scorpion measuring up to 2 meters long once lived and thrived millions of years ago. This species bears the scientific name Paracotis eucharides and possesses a unique characteristic that completely distinguishes it from its current congeners. Sea scorpions were large aquatic predators that once lived underwater and are now only found as fossils. They swim very swiftly, using their strong, large legs and firm jaws to snatch prey. The study indicates that sea scorpions primarily prey on fish and small arthropods. The fossil of a sea scorpion measuring up to 2 meters long has just been discovered in Australia, playing a crucial role in the study of prehistoric marine ecosystems. Scientists note that the body structure of the Paracotis eucharides species has remarkable and noteworthy features. It has a long exoskeleton, consisting of many segments and interconnected appendages. With its massive, terrifying claws and distinctive structure, it became a formidable predator in the ancient ocean world. It can hunt and subdue smaller prey, ranging from fish to invertebrates, even including fellow sea scorpions. The enormous size of Paracotis eucharides far surpasses that of most sea scorpions ever recorded in history, making them one of the largest arthropods to have ever existed on Earth. Scientists believe that the discovery of a 2-meter-long sea scorpion in Australia is an exceptionally significant find. This is proof of the wonders from Earth's ancient past. A strange object suddenly appeared in the skies over Australia, sparking curiosity and excitement. Residents in central Victoria, Australia, were utterly astonished to witness a mysterious bright streak gliding across the night sky. Some people believe it could be traces left by aliens. However, astronomers assert that it is not an unidentified flying object, UFO. Instead, it could be a fragment of some artificial structure in the universe, manifested as slow-moving beams of light across the sky. Professor John T. Horner, an astrophysics expert at Southern Kisaran University, shared with the press that the slow speed, only about 6 kilometers per second, is a clear sign that it's a false space. He also stated that this very object had created the strange bright streak appearing in the sky. A Russian satellite may have split several hours ago in the preset Conmorum area, located about over 800 kilometers north of Matsau. S might have burned up before it even hit the ground. However, this information has not yet been officially confirmed by the authorities. Thus, the true origin of the luminous object in the Australian sky remains a hotly debated mystery. Giant spider fossil from 16 million years ago. Recently, Australian scientists discovered the fossil of an ancient spider species of considerable size, dating back approximately 11 to 16 million years. This is the largest spider fossil ever discovered in the country, and also the first fossil specimen of the Body-Cheridae spider family found in the world. The fossil was discovered at the Magrad Frass Archaeological Site, located in the central region of New Shalwell, Australia. This place is renowned for its unique fossils of diverse flora and fauna, dating back to the Miocene epoch approximately 5 to 23 million years ago. Scientists say the newly discovered spider fossil closely resembles modern-day trapdoor spider species. But its size is 5 times larger than other species in the same genus. Dr. Buckery noted that this new discovery holds significant scientific importance, as previously only 4 spider fossils had been found across the entire Australian continent. Scientists face many challenges when studying the evolutionary process of this species. This fossil reveals new information about the extinction process of spider species while filling a knowledge gap in the evolutionary history of Oceania. The closest living relatives of this fossil currently inhabit the dense, humid rainforests stretching from Singapore to Papua New Guinea. This shows that these species once thrived in a similar environment on the Australian continent, but later went extinct as this part of Oceania became drier. By using an electron microscope, researchers observed extremely fine details on the toenails and the stiff hairs on the feet. The spider's legs and main body are covered with stiff bristles. While their structure resembles ordinary hair, they can perform a variety of more diverse functions. These hairs help spiders sense chemicals and vibrations, protect them from predators, and can even produce sound. The 17,000-year-old kangaroo painting. An archaeological study has been published in the journal Nature Human Behavior. February 22 revealed the cave painting considered the oldest in Australia. According to research by experts at the University of Melbourne, Australia, an ancient cave painting has been discovered in the Kimberley region of Western Australia. The research team stated that inside a cave located in the Ngthongo clan's territory, there is a 2-meter-long painting of a kangaroo, which includes detailed genitalia. The research team used radiocarbon dating to confirm the results. This painting was created approximately 17,100 to 17,500 years ago, with the most accurate estimated age being around 17,300 years. Dr. Demi Ewenfin, the study's author, confirms that this is the oldest cave painting ever discovered. At the same time, this is also the most intact artifact ever discovered in Australia. However, this is not the oldest cave painting in the world. This record belongs to a 45,000-year-old wild boar painting in Indonesia. Previous researchers have analyzed the stylistic features in the kangaroo painting, and the surrounding paintings as well as the order in which they were created. From there, they could identify the oldest style. This period is called the era of natural semantic overlap, beginning around 28,000 BC. At that time, animals were often depicted at their actual, life-sized scale. This is a significant discovery, as these preliminary studies have enabled us to grasp the key findings. We can never fully comprehend the inner world of ancient artists within the context they once lived. Artist Key painted this work over 600 generations ago. But we all know that this natural period of overlapping meanings has persisted since the last ice age. Moreover, this new discovery also reveals some fascinating aspects of ancient life. The climate back then was cooler and drier than it is now. Researcher Seven Elmend from the Department of Sociology at the University of Western Australia. Evaluating cave paintings will help us expand our understanding of the history and culture of indigenous communities. He noticed the similarity between this painting and the oldest cave paintings ever discovered on an Indonesian island. From that point, a cultural connection was formed. At the same time, there is a hypothesis that Australian rock art appeared earlier than the evidence humans have discovered so far. In the next step, the researchers aim to more precisely determine the start and end times of each artistic period. Based on the stylistic differences among the cave paintings in Kimberley, the intact 8-million-year-old skeleton of a giant marsupial has been discovered in Central Australia, far exceeding scientists' expectations. The domestication syndrome in biology is described as an extreme evolutionary experiment. This is the largest bird ever recorded in the world, with a colossal size resembling a dinosaur, standing up to 3 meters tall and weighing at least half a ton. It is a collection of peculiar traits that persist across many eras. Stitchen's thunderbird, Idaromanus stitchen, pursues the field of legal science. It had an oversized beak protruding from a small box, mounted on its massive body. The way the fruit decisively determines its lineage was described by researchers as a detail meant only to make the animal's story sound even more absurd. The passage shows it has a close connection to modern chickens and ducks, but in reality, it is a true devil duck. Dr. Adam Schitt, a paleontologist in charge of the Earth Sciences Division at the Northern Territory Museum and Art Gallery. The passage describes that the two exposed bone segments are precisely arranged according to the creature's anatomical structure. That means the corpse remains intact as it was when buried. Currently, scientists have only excavated the animal's pelvic bones and are expanding the search area to uncover the remaining parts. Hopefully, this is an intact pair. It has always been a slow and meticulous process, not only because these two fossil specimens are highly fragile but also because paleontologists must. Each bone fragment must be precisely aligned, as even a slight misalignment can lead to serious errors, and makes reconstructing the appearance of extinct species more difficult. According to paleontologist Gordon Henry and colleagues from Flinders University, they once found an old ladder, but it was just a messy pile of small bones. This might be a male of the same species, but it doesn't help clarify the description of this strange creature, while the one just found is a female. However, the appearance of these two individuals helped them recognize some distinct differences between the male and female birds. About 8 million years ago, this divine bird likely lived and cultivated itself in the arid forests, and used their strong, large beaks to eat fruit along with other animals. The site where the dew was discovered is a fossil treasure trove called Angota, located in the Hio-Lan region. The remains of several ancient kangaroo and koala species have also been discovered here. The giant skeleton lying on the beach. The giant skeleton washed ashore in Australia left the entire world in awe upon seeing it. Besides the local people, the deep sea also harbors countless creatures and unexplainable mysteries. And this giant skeleton is no exception. It is most likely the remains of an unidentified creature. Perhaps they were already too familiar with the sight of such colossal creatures. Wash clothes at nearby beaches. In your opinion, does this gelatinous orb belong to a marine creature? Or is it from another species that doesn't live in the ocean? What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Now, it's time to say goodbye and see you again later. Ancient artifact valued at up to 3.3 trillion Vietnamese dongs. In 1990, while farming, a peasant in An County, Changda City, Hunan Province, China accidentally discovered a strange sinkhole. Seeing that this place could contain cultural artifacts, this person immediately reported it to the local authorities. After the experts arrived to survey and conduct an appraisal, it turned out that the strange hole was actually the top part of an ancient tomb. However, it wasn't until 1991 that archaeologists officially began large-scale excavations of this tomb. Thanks to the experts' thorough preparation, the excavation of this ancient tomb proceeded smoothly and successfully. Many valuable cultural artifacts have been unearthed, including 78 items made of gold, silver, and precious gemstones. As usual, the archaeological excavation achieved significant success as researchers not only identified the tomb's owner, that is Lu Huan, a renowned general from the late Western Jin dynasty, who was also a collector of a vast number of valuable cultural artifacts, like a golden crocodile statue, along with many bronze and lacquer items. However, among the countless cultural artifacts excavated from the ancient tomb dating back approximately 1,700 years, archaeologists are particularly intrigued by a unique artifact, a cylindrical object crafted from silver and jade. The appeal is simple, precisely because experts still can't explain the true purpose of this item. According to archaeologists, this artifact resembles a jade vase, standing about 10.5 centimeters tall with a similar diameter. It is crafted with exceptional intricacy and skill. Typically, most excavated jade artifacts are intact, flawless, and possess a certain degree of opacity. This is considered the highest grade of precious jade. However, this jade vase is different, crafted from a high-quality block of jadeite, yet not of the translucent variety. According to experts, this jade vase remains a rare artistic masterpiece in the world. The most outstanding feature is the incredibly unique and refined decorative patterns. Notably, the upper part of the jade vase is exquisitely carved with intricate yet harmonious patterns, featuring prominent motifs of drifting clouds, soaring dragons, and majestic unicorns. The lower section is divided into 3 decorative groups, each depicting a different theme: the battle between fairies and dragons, lakes and dragons and bears. The summit of Dai Bin has 3 legs cast in the shape of bears. These motifs reflect the ancient people's aspirations for longevity, immortality, and a life of wealth and prosperity. The discovery of artifacts made from jade is no longer a rare occurrence in modern archaeological excavations. However, experts assert that based on the intricate carving techniques on this jade vase, it can be confirmed as the work of master craftsmen from thousands of years ago. This engraving technique is even more exquisite than that of the Jin dynasty. Experts believe that this jade vase was likely a treasured item highly favored by the emperor during his lifetime. This sparked a debate among experts about the true purpose of the 1,700-year-old jade jar. In terms of shape, this vase closely resembles 2 wine-warming vessels from the Han Dynasty that were excavated in Shaanxi Province, China, in 1962. These 2 jars are used for storing and warming wine. According to records, jade artifacts such as this vase adorned with mythical beast motifs only appeared during the Han Dynasty. During the later Han and Three Kingdoms periods, ceramics gradually became widespread, replacing bronze and jade vessels. However, at this stage, the jar was primarily used as a wine container. This is the controversial point, as the ancients often poured wine into specific vessels like cups or bowls before drinking. Meanwhile, this vase has an overall height of 10.5 centimeters, too small to be used as a wine jar but too large to serve as a drinking cup. Therefore, experts all oppose the opinion that this artifact is a wine container. To this day, they still haven't been able to decipher the true purpose of this vase, despite confirming its immense value. The paintings carved on ancient stone walls. At the Chao Qiu historical site in Kaifeng City, Henan Province, central China. Archaeologists have discovered 2 stone murals dating back to the Northern Song Dynasty, 960-1127. This is considered the largest painting of its kind ever discovered in China to date. Avoiding delays is one of the auspicious motifs in traditional Chinese culture. The flying birds and clouds are symmetrically arranged along both the northern and southern banks east of Chao Qiu Bridge, all standing 3.3 meters tall. The wall excavated on the south bank is 23.2 meters long, while the wall on the north bank measures 21.2 meters in length. These 2 paintings have a combined length of up to 100 meters and a total engraved area of approximately 400 square meters. The archaeologists believe that the scale of the subject and the style of these stone murals. According to records, Chao Qiu Bridge was built around the years 780 to 783 during the Tang Dynasty, 618–907. The Grand Canal is a magnificent waterway that connects northern and southern China. This bridge was a vital structure located on the central axis of Kaifeng City and was buried by sand in 1642 following a catastrophic flood of the Yellow River. To date, archaeologists have discovered 117 relics and ruins in this area, revealing that China's history still holds many mysteries, particularly during the Northern Song Dynasty period. The mystery within China's one-of-a-kind submerged ancient tomb. In February 1978, on a small hill in the outskirts of Suizhou, a city in Hubei Province, China, the Wuhan Air Force is using explosives to blast mountains in order to expand the radar repair plant area. The smooth stone surface on the hill suddenly cracked open, revealing a patch of earth with strange colors. This plot of land has distinct colors and characteristics compared to the surrounding area, showing signs of human excavation. Based on the total area of the land, this is very likely the burial site of an ancient tomb of enormous scale. The tomb covers a total area of 220 square meters, with a length of 13 meters, of which the coffin chamber alone occupies 190 square meters. 6 times larger than the tomb of the Lady of Dai excavated from the famous Mawangdui Han tombs. Since the tomb had no entrance, the archaeological team was forced to use a large crane to move 47 massive stone slabs. Beneath the rock layer is a 250 centimeters thick soil stratum, followed by a 10 to 30 centimeters layer of blue clay with poor water permeability. At the bottom is a layer of charcoal that serves to waterproof and absorb moisture. The charcoal, after being brought outside and dried, has a total weight of up to 60 tons. It is carefully stored and thoroughly covered to prevent moisture absorption. But when they peeled away the golden wooden layer, the archaeologists were utterly astonished to find the entire tomb submerged in water. According to reports, this tomb unfortunately experienced an earthquake or flood in the past, causing the groundwater vein to rupture. The artifacts below were submerged deep in water and faced the risk of severe damage. The pumps were immediately activated to operate at full capacity, pumping out water and removing mud from the flooded area. As the water receded, the entire tomb complex gradually came into view. The tomb consists of 4 rectangular chambers, with the eastern chamber housing the coffin of the tomb's owner. The coffin was placed inside a larger outer coffin made of bronze, measuring 3.2 meters in length, 2.1 meters in width, 2.19 meters in height, and weighing up to 3.29 tons. The station features exquisitely intricate raised carvings. Strangely enough, this bronze coffin is also equipped with a door. Some experts believe this may be a special design intended to allow the souls of the deceased to move freely. After a preliminary survey, the archaeological team determined that the person in the coffin was male, approximately 1 meter 63 centimeters tall. Combined with the inscriptions on the coffin, archaeologists have confirmed that this is the tomb of the King of Zheng, a vassal state during the Warring States period. His real name was Koat, often referred to as Tang Haoat. He was born in 475 BC and died in 433 BC. However, King Tang's coffin was not the only one discovered in this ancient tomb. When the water nearly drained away, 23 more coffins surfaced, floating on the water. When they opened the coffin lids, the archaeologists witnessed an utterly astonishing sight. Among the 23 coffins, each one contained the remains of young women. The musicians performing in the court are typically between the ages of 13 and 25. After Marquis had passed away, his family members were forced to be buried alive with him. This brutal custom was once considered normal in feudal society and was not abolished until the reign of Emperor Ming Yingzong, 1457 to 1464. Additionally, this place also preserves over 15,000 excavated artifacts. The collection includes musical instruments, lacquered wooden items, jade bracelets, wooden artifacts, horse-drawn carriages, parasols, and a total of 6,239 bronze antiquities that have been discovered. The most outstanding among them is the collection of 65 bronze bells, the largest and most complete set of bells ever unearthed in China. This set of bells not only impresses with its vast quantity, but also astonishes with its intricate design and crystal clear, pure sound quality. This is regarded as the pinnacle masterpiece of musical instruments from the Warring States period, and is also honored as a national treasure. It is an ancient tomb containing hundreds of terracotta warhorses arranged in neat rows, along with countless precious artifacts. The mausoleum complex is grand in scale, with numerous animal offerings presented as sacrifices. This indicates that this is the tomb of a high-ranking figure in ancient Chinese society. That king was Lord Jing of Qi, the ruler of the state of Qi during the Spring and Autumn and Warring States period of ancient China. Duke Jing of Qi ruled the state of Qi from 547 to 490 BCE. According to ancient beliefs, all warhorses were live horses, sacrificed to serve Duke Jing of Qi in the afterlife. Duke Jing of Qi, whose personal name was Lu Chu, was the younger son of Duke Ling of Qi, the 24th ruler of the state of Qi. His mother was a concubine of Duke Ling of Qi. When Duke Ling of Qi passed away in 554 BC, his eldest son, Duke Zhuang of Qi, succeeded to the throne. After ascending the throne, Duke Zhuang of Qi again engaged in an illicit affair with the wife of Hui Zu, the chancellor of Qi. In 548 BCE, Hui Zu assassinated Duke Zhuang of Qi right in his own residence. Issue a proclamation to the court officials, elevating the character, Hu, to the throne, with the reign title of Duke Jing of Qi. The real power of the state of Qi at that time lay in the hands of Chancellor Thoi Chu and a nobleman named Kan Feng. After suppressing the rebellion led by Hui Zu and Qing Feng, Duke Jing of Qi restored his authority. The state of Qi began to enter an era of peace and prosperity. At that time, Duke Jing of Qi married Princess Yanji of the state of Yan, and they had a son who became the crown prince but unfortunately died young. Duke Jing of Qi had 5 sons by different concubines, but he chose his youngest son, Zhang Tu, to inherit the throne. Despite the loyal minister's earnest pleas, the remaining 4 sons were still exiled to the Hoangbu region. After Cao Lao passed away in 490 BC, Duke Jing of Qi also fell ill and died, ending his 58-year reign. His death sparked a bloody uprising. Duke Jing of Qi was buried in Jiatu village, located in the northeastern area of Linzi City, Beijing. This is Shandong Province, China. In the northern area of the tomb, archaeologists have discovered the remains of 145 horses buried in a 215-meter-long pit. After many years, an additional 106 horse skeletons were discovered, bringing the total number of remains to 251. These horses are all between 5 and 7 years old. By the time the excavations took place in 2003, archaeologists have unearthed over 600 horse skeletons. He was buried in the tomb of Duke Jing of Qi alongside 30 dogs, 2 pigs, and 6 other animals. After thoroughly studying the horse bone structure, experts concluded that these horses must have had remarkable endurance throughout their lives. They are war horses, with no signs indicating they died from disease and were then buried. These horses were killed and buried with their owners in the tombs, which is considered a horse sacrifice ritual. The sacrificial horses were often buried alongside the reigning monarch in the tomb complex. Notably, the horses were arranged in lifelike action poses even after being killed. But the horse was ready to charge into battle in the ancient tomb. Numerous horse skeletons were arranged in front of the chariots, resembling the horse-drawn chariots commonly seen in ancient battles. During his lifetime, Duke Jing of Qi was renowned for his deep passion for horses. When they passed away, the ancients often buried large numbers of war horses like this to commemorate and honor the deceased, much like the King of Qi once did. The 100-year-old stone gives birth a mysterious trace. The local people in Qianan Autonomous Prefecture, located in Guizhou Province, southwest China. It's astonishing to encounter smooth, perfectly round stone eggs densely packed on the cliffside, then rolling down to the ground. Cliff of Bearing Witness. For decades, this cliff has remained a mystery that baffles geologists. Despite numerous hypotheses and even scientific explanations, no one has yet provided the most accurate and convincing answer. This cliff is 2.4 meters high and 19 meters long, looking no different from any other ordinary cliffs. But strangely, on the smooth cliff face, round protrusions of varying sizes suddenly emerge, looking like open eyes. Over time, these egg-shaped rocks continue to grow, gradually revealing their form. When they can no longer cling to the cliffside, they fall to make way for new eggs to form. According to the accounts of nearby Kuru villagers, every 30 years without fail, Chendasha lays a multitude of eggs. According to studies, the rock at Chendasha was formed during the Cambrian period, approximately 500 million years ago. The Cambrian period, over 500 million years ago, marked the greatest biological explosion in Earth's history. Transformed the entire world into a planet of monsters teeming with countless bizarre and diverse creatures. Most of them went extinct, but they laid the foundation for later species. At that time, this area was still a vast sea. The abundant silicon dioxide particles in the water bonded together, forming spherical masses before being compressed and transformed into metamorphic rock. Soaking in water makes the silicon dioxide particles more rounded and smoother. Over millions of years of geological transformation, the ocean gradually turned into mountains, and these silicon dioxide-rich metamorphic rock formations took shape. Encased in lime mud, the mud is formed from compacted sediments such as sand, soil, or small rock fragments with lower durability. The mysterious stone deep in the forests of Guizhou, China, has been eroded over the years. However, only the less durable limestone was eroded, while the eggs made of metamorphic rock remained extremely hard and sturdy. The cave entrance platforms gradually emerge and then collapse from the cliff face every few decades. Experts suggest that the round, egg-shaped stones are formed due to differences in the erosion rates of various types of rock. But they still couldn't figure out how the stones were polished so smoothly into perfect circles. Why does an entire geological region dating back billions of years contain limestone? Many villagers took the eggs home, believing they would bring good luck and blessings. Nearly all 125 households in Kuru keep at least one of these strange eggs in their homes as a good luck charm. In 1974, the Beijing municipal government, China, commenced a construction project in Fengtai district. The construction workers noticed strange signs on the ground and were utterly astonished to discover a massive hidden chamber deep beneath. After excavation, archaeologists determined this to be the burial chamber of Crown Prince Liu Jian from the Han Dynasty. This room is exceptionally large, measuring 15 meters in length, 10 meters in width, and 3 meters in height. Notably, the walls are an astonishing 1.8 meters thick. This peculiar room was entirely constructed from solid cedar wood beams, tightly fitted together, each precisely 90 centimeters long. According to initial estimates, over 15,000 clapping sticks were used in this area. Royal tombs. The royal tomb is an architectural space constructed to protect and honor the resting place of the king's coffin. The four walls and roof are all made from solid cedar wood cores, with the timber beams tightly stacked together. Golden cypress is not an ordinary type of wood, but an extremely rare tree species in China. The wood of the rosewood tree is renowned for enduring thousands of years without any damage. The cypress wood contains abundant resin inside, which effectively resists termites and prevents the wood from warping. Thanks to its distinctive fragrance, even after centuries, it has retained its inherent noble aroma. Golden cypress is revered as a sacred wood, carrying profound spiritual significance. Every carved detail on the tomb is exquisitely crafted, requiring masterful craftsmanship and considerable expense. To date, archaeologists have discovered only 10 royal tombs across the entire territory of China, and this is precisely the reason. The greatest nightmare of carpentry. Due to the extremely complex structure of this booby trap, tomb raiders will be knocked out the moment they touch the first wall. Each wooden plank weighs approximately 300 kilograms and is stacked securely on top of one another. After thousands of years buried underground, the pressure from the wooden beams and tightly fitted mortise joints created an incredibly sturdy structure. Anyone who wants to crawl in would have to pull out each wooden plank one by one, but this is clearly impossible. To prevent tomb raiders, many emperors even went so far as to meticulously construct 3 to 4 layers of coffins. Just when you overcome one wall, another one stands in your way. This proves it's truly a test of patience for tomb raiders. Recently, archaeologists discovered a jar of rice along with intact eggs dating back 500 years in Sichuan province, China. In Guang'an City Park, an ancient tomb from the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, was discovered, containing intact grains of rice and eggs inside. The eggs, still in their shells, were buried in a jar of rice. Scientists are still checking the number of eggs. Mr. Tang Shunmei, director of Guang'an Museum, shared. This coffin is tightly sealed, featuring an effective anti-humidity and anti-corrosion design, with a thick layer of lime coating inside, ranging from 2 to 5 centimeters. It contains rice and eggs, preserved with a lid. Historians still disagree on the cultural significance behind the custom of placing eggs in tombs. One hypothesis suggests that this symbol represents the continuity of life through successive generations of descendants. On the other hand, some people believe that the tomb's owner might have simply enjoyed eating eggs when they were alive. The discovery of intact eggs in ancient tombs is an extremely rare occurrence in China. Accordingly, archaeologists are working to determine the quantity and avoid any unnecessary errors related to these mysterious eggs. Ladies and gentlemen, thus concludes our journey of discovery today, as the mystery of the 500-year-old egg comes to a close. Among the discoveries mentioned above, which one impressed you the most? That's it for our video today. Goodbye, and see you next time. The ancient giant chess set nestled in the heart of Nevada's desert mountains. Every land, every mountain inhabited by people holds mysterious tales and colorful legends. Sometimes, those stories are just folk legends, with no real evidence to back them up. However, the legend of the giant in the Nevada desert carries a different tone. The legend tells of a tribe of giants living deep within a remote cave atop a treacherous mountain in the Nevada desert. While many are skeptical and dismiss it as mere fabrication, quite a few others have grounds to dig deeper and attempt to unravel this unbelievable story. Among them, many archaeologists have spent an entire century conducting research. The Native Americans in Nevada had settled and lived in the dry lake basin of Hambow and the surrounding areas for over 4,000 years. According to oral traditions passed down through generations of the Pale tribes since the early 20th century, Wono Minor was the first to discover the remains of a giant human-like skeleton in the area within and adjacent to the Nevada geological stratum. Shitika. However, many artifacts still remain in this area, although a significant number have been lost. Archaeologists have discovered 10,000 priceless artifacts over the years. The legend says that people even found red hair. Not only is the hair color of the Shitika unusual, but so are their habitat and ethnicity. The skeletons are also the source of countless unanswered questions and mysteries. They have discovered skeletons measuring over 2.4 meters in height, far exceeding the stature of the Pale tribe or any other race. Traces of smoke and fire have also been found in the layers of soil and rock, indicating that a civilization once existed here. So what happened to the Shitika, the red-skinned giant people of the exploiting class? While legends from archaeologists and local folklore endlessly debate with no resolution in sight, the legend of Pale tells that they were a race of cruel giants. It is said that they frequently set traps, abduct, and harm other indigenous tribes. However, later on, the character Shitika got trapped and died right in the line. To this day, people still debate whether the human species that once lived in geological layers were truly giants. Where did they come from, and what truly happened that led to their extinction? The 5,000-year-old giant sun statue in China. Since 2016, archaeologists have been excavating a vast area in eastern China. Here lie the ruins of 104 houses, 205 mass graves, and 20 sacrificial pits. These relics belong to an ancient culture known as the Long Sun culture. During the Stone Age, 5,000 years ago. Recently, scientists have discovered human skeletons with unusually large sizes and remarkably robust structures. The discovered skeletons all had heights that significantly surpassed those of most modern humans. Among these, there is a set of remains measuring up to 1.9 meters tall, while many other skeletons reach only 1.8 meters or even exceed that height. The archaeologists concluded that this is a skeletal structure, and if this person were still alive, he would certainly be over 1.9 meters tall, possibly even reaching 2 meters. The skeleton of a man with a height significantly taller than others was found in larger-sized graves. This led researchers to conclude that it was due to the advantage of height. They may have achieved a high status in the community. Additionally, archaeologists discovered numerous wounds on the head and legs of the larger-sized skeletal remains. Not long after the burial, anomalies began to appear, likely due to the power struggles among these individuals when they were alive. Giant sword unearthed from ancient tomb in Japan. The mirror and sword have a unique shape, often measuring over 2 meters in length. Discovered at the ancient Tomio Maruyama burial mound, this is also Japan's largest Kofun tomb. Built in the latter half of the 4th century, the Kofun period was a significant era in Japanese history, marked by distinctive burial customs featuring ancient mound-shaped tombs. This term is also used to refer to ancient graves with round mound shapes. This sword belongs to Japan's dark Hokan lineage, but it has an unusual size with a length of up to 2.3 meters, as if it were crafted specifically for a giant. The shield-shaped mirror was buried right beside it in a layer of clay covering the 5-meter-long wooden coffin. The mirror is 64 centimeters in height and 31 centimeters in width, featuring uniquely carved patterns. It is also one of the types of mirrors commonly used as burial goods by the Japanese. Engraved mirrors are usually round, but this one has the shape of a shield. This is also the largest ancient bronze scale ever excavated in Japan. This ancient burial mound has a diameter of up to 86 meters and stands 10 meters tall, indicating that the person buried within must have been an extremely important figure. In the tomb, besides the two strange treasures mentioned above, many other valuable burial artifacts were also preserved. The passage includes various types of bronze items, decorative mirrors imprinted with deities and animals, everyday household utensils, and agricultural tools. The researchers concluded that this sword and bronze mirror were not items intended for the buried individual's use, but was created for a ceremonial purpose, as only the giants of legend could wield a sword of such immense size. The multi-ringed swords are also deeply tied to the ancient snake-worshipping beliefs, reflected in their softly curved blades that mimic the sinuous form of a serpent. In this case, the mirror and its function can be used for the purpose of warding off evil spirits. The wooden coffin remains unopened, but researchers believe the contents inside are intact as there were no signs of disturbance. To this day, scientists continue to tirelessly research to clarify the details surrounding this massive tomb. In 1940, archaeologists excavated artifacts from the ruins of an ancient fortress in Asiadafa, Romania. He accidentally discovered a giant box, nearly 3 times the size of an average person. However, when the archaeological team received the news, all the hired local workers were immediately dismissed. Only the archaeological team continued excavating the remaining area. Archaeologists have discovered 80 sets of remains along with numerous large jars used for storing food. Most remained intact and were mysteriously loaded onto trucks before being hauled away. To this day, the fate of the skeletons and the reason the incident was concealed remain unanswered questions. Did they uncover the secret of the legendary giant race and are deliberately hiding it from us? Is there another hidden mystery behind this that we may never uncover? Did giants truly exist in human history? This has always been the question driving experts and scientists to relentlessly seek answers for decades. As a result, they discovered some crucial evidence proving their existence. Among them, experts have discovered several footprints believed to belong to giants. A notable example is in 1912, when a mountaineer named Stofo Kachi discovered giant footprints near the town of Empolisi in the Nafi region. Experts estimate that this footprint dates back approximately 200 million years and measures about 1.2 meters in length. God's footprint. In 1987, biologist Sadie McBono discovered another giant footprint in New Mexico, dating back as far as 290 million years. Additionally, on August 24, 2016, a group of photographers discovered giant footprints in Pingguan Cave, located in Guizhou Province, China. According to experts, these dinosaur footprints were deeply imprinted in the rock. Here are the natural English translations for both versions. These footprints may have appeared in ancient times. Experts believe these footprints are evidence that giants once existed on Earth. However, many mysteries about them, such as when they appeared or why they vanished, remain unsolved. The requirement is that future studies must strive to gather more scientific evidence to determine whether giants truly existed or not. In 1988, a giant 38 centimeters long finger was discovered in an ancient Egyptian tomb, sparking public speculation. At that time, many people believed this was proof that giants truly existed. As account, the giant finger above was taken from an ancient tomb in Egypt. However, this person refused to reveal the tomb. After this information about the finger was posted, many people expressed skepticism and believed it was just a joke. However, they used X-ray imaging to examine the giant finger and confirmed that it was indeed a real finger. From here, scientists began researching to determine how this finger fits with the body. After conducting research, experts concluded that this 38 centimeters long finger belonged to an individual approximately 5 meters tall and weighing between 600 to 800 kilograms. For this reason, it is believed that these numbers correspond to the size of the giants. The reason is that since ancient times, many legends have often depicted giants as having bodies many times larger than ordinary people. However, since this giant finger mysteriously vanished, experts still cannot definitively confirm whether it was part of a giant's body. Dear friend, the giants who once lived on Earth went extinct, or perhaps they fulfilled their mission and returned to their homeland. Could they be beings from another planet, who came to Earth and will eventually return? So many questions are raised, but the answers may forever remain a mystery. Humans always yearn to uncover mysteries, especially those related to themselves and the planet Earth. Humans continue to tirelessly research and explore the universe. While awaiting the research results, perhaps we should let the image of the giant remain in each person's vivid imagination. So, what do you think about this issue? Goodbye for now, see you again soon. The mass grave of beheaded soldiers. While digging along the edge of a deserted old road in Dosean, I suddenly found not the usual pebbles, but what might have been a fragment of a plowshare. Archaeologists have made a remarkable discovery, a mass grave containing the headless remains of 54 Viking warriors. Because the explanation of the fighting island is a warning sign, indicating that this was once a hunting area of the ancients and should be avoided. The archaeologists meticulously continue to record the position of each bone fragment. While carrying out their work, they gradually realized there was something extremely unusual about this place. Specifically, the leg bones, arm bones, along with the head and torso, were all neatly arranged into separate piles. Initially, archaeologists hypothesized that after being captured by the locals, they somehow escaped the Viking attack. The villagers killed the attackers, skinned and dismembered them into many pieces, then brought back some of the enemy's skulls. Maybe for fun or to keep as a memento. But this doesn't explain why the unfortunate Viking warriors were beheaded by extremely precise sword strikes from the front. Instead of approaching from behind and striking the neck as in the usual beheading method. In fact, later on, archaeologists revised their theories and acknowledged that perhaps the Vikings were not killed by brutal men for revenge, but were sacrificed in a spiritual ritual. This regulation is quite strict and does not align with contemporary culture. The mysterious island named Ghost. Folktales from many parts of the world tell of countless mysterious and enigmatic lands existing all around us. One such place is the island off the western coast of Irene. Hidden by a thick veil of fog and only appearing once every 7 years. Irene often recounts in oral traditions that this island is shrouded in a misty haze and will vanish when someone draws near. Later, those stories were published in Irene's folklore books, and you'd surely be torn over which one to read first. They're all equally captivating. According to the book Asterisk, The Wonders of Irene Asterisk, compiled by Dia McAnery and published in 1888. The floating island was discovered by local resident Kathy Coate on July 7, 1878. The number 7 has appeared 3 times, which holds special significance as 7 is considered a spiritual number, indicating a strong presence of the spiritual world behind this issue. The Wonders of Irene. On the afternoon of Sunday, July 7, 1878, the people of Barry Cotton and Kathy Coate were extremely excited. Before the sudden appearance of a remote island, no one knew for certain whether it truly existed or not. The men in the town and on Barry Cotton Island are all fishermen, as familiar with the sea and the land as the backs of their hands. The other day, they rowed their boat toward the strange island that had recently appeared, convinced it was the best fishing ground they'd ever known. However, they looked further and were even more astonished when, in the clear daylight, the island appeared as distinctly as the northern hill. Some spots were rough, others were densely overgrown with trees. On one side, it rises steeply from the sea, while on the other, it slopes gently downward. The two riverbanks often appear in various legends, including the tale of giant black rabbits that resemble a sorcerer, the gods hidden in the misty haze, vanished civilizations, and of course, unidentified flying objects. This phantom island was never found in reality, yet it appeared on maps from the 14th century all the way to the 19th century. The researchers believe the reason is that the mapmakers were unable to survey all the locations. And so, sometimes they inadvertently include these rumors in their maps. The origin of the name High Boat Trio remains a mystery to this day, but according to Irene folklore, it is believed that they originated from the Irene Uy Brachel tribe, one of the oldest clans in the northeast region of Irene. The massive Banjiak, Trung Khan waterfall has split into 2 branches. A massive crack several kilometers long and up to tens of meters wide suddenly appeared recently in southwestern Kenya. This passage is believed to be evidence that the African continent is beginning to split in 2. Currently, the crack continues to widen, causing a section of the Narrabinnarock Highway to collapse. This area also experiences accompanying seismic activity. Earth is a planet in constant motion and transformation, though many of these changes are imperceptible to the naked eye. However, the appearance of a massive crack in Kenya is clear evidence that intense geological activity is occurring and causing significant changes. Long predicted by scientists, the African continent is beginning to split apart, raising significant questions in geological research. Over billions of years of formation, Earth's crust has broken into countless tectonic plates. These plates do not remain stationary but move relative to each other at varying speeds, sliding atop the viscous, ductile asthenosphere. The exact mechanism behind these movements remains a subject of debate, but this is very likely related to convection currents in the asthenosphere and the forces generated at the boundaries between tectonic plates. These forces do not merely cause the tectonic plates to move. Not only that, it also causes these networks to break apart, creating cracks and potentially leading to the formation of new network boundaries. The East African Rift is a prime example because this process is actively occurring there. The East African Rift stretches over 3,000 kilometers, extending from the Gulf of Aden in the north to Zimbabwe in the south. Currently, the African tectonic plate is divided into two unequal parts, the Somali Plate and the Nubian Plate. This is an unusually active rift zone, largely located deep beneath the ocean floor. Since ancient times, geologists have always made predictions. In about 50 million years, Africa will split into two parts due to the activity of the East African Rift. Geological activity occurs along the eastern branch of the East African Rift Valley, stretching across the countries of Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania. It became clearer when a sudden major flood hit the southwestern region of Kenya. According to Kenyan geologist David Ahay, based on current developments, he calculated that the African continent is gradually splitting apart in the Somali region at a rate of 2.5 centimeters per year. In the near future, this situation will persist, creating a maritime divide between Somali and the rest of Africa. The increase in the movement speed of Earth's tectonic plates is primarily driven by volcanic activity near these plates. He believes the accelerated separation of Africa is due to the activity of a volcano. Notably, Earth's history has recorded one instance of tectonic plate splitting, specifically in the South Atlantic Ocean region. The ocean formed from the separation between South America and Africa approximately 138 million years ago. Later, scientists discovered this when they noticed that the coastlines of the two continents fit together like two pieces of a puzzle in a matching pair. Nguyen Quan with a ghostly face. Over 50 years ago, in a small town in Spain, a house suddenly became famous. As a celebrity, things started getting strange when a series of human faces suddenly appeared and then mysteriously vanished on the kitchen table. In August 1971, Maria Gomez Perea, a resident of the town of Baymed, Spain, noticed strange stains appearing on her kitchen floor. She never imagined she would become the central figure in one of the most mysterious events of the 20th century, meticulously documented down to the smallest detail. The ghostly faces of Baymed village. For some unknown reason, the old stains gradually spread and eventually formed a shape exactly like a human face. When the human face formed, it is believed to have shifted from its original position. Terrified by the unprecedented event in her life, Maria tried desperately to scrub away the stain, but all her efforts were in vain. Maria had to ask her husband, Mr. John, for help, and the solution he proposed was to replace the entire floor. Just about a week later, when everything seemed to have settled down, the whole family was thrown into panic again as that face unexpectedly reappeared. The survey experts quickly arrived at Maria's family home and decided to begin the excavation immediately. At that time, this was considered the best and only way to uncover why the masked troops could not be eliminated and kept reappearing. After only a short time, the workers found the first clue. About 3 meters beneath the kitchen floor, they discovered numerous human skeletons, some of which were missing their heads. Before transferring the remains to the Catholic cemetery, the authorities conducted tests, analyses, and determined they dated back approximately 700 years. The researchers concluded that this was most likely a mass grave of executed prisoners. As a result, Maria's kitchen was demolished, filled with concrete, and completely rebuilt. At this point, both the local council and Maria's family were relieved because all the unusual incidents had come to an end. But a few weeks later, new cards appeared, completely different from the previous ones. This time was completely different from before, not just a single stain appearing and refusing to fade, but a series of new marks gradually emerging on the house wall. They appear and disappear constantly, sometimes just hours apart. Among the gentle faces, there were also those of women and children, with expressions and colors of remarkable diversity. The scientists used specialized equipment to record the strange sounds emanating from the room. The results captured were eerie noises that superstitious people believe could only come from hell. However, some scientists argue that this is simply a random phenomenon, occurring when chemicals in the kitchen combine with each other. Others suspect that Maria, the owner of the kitchen, possesses a special psychic ability, and that this is what causes the strange phenomena. Additionally, there is also evidence that the strange phenomena only occurred when Mrs. Maria was present at home. If she was away, they would significantly diminish. However, on February 3, 2004, Maria passed away, but the cracks continued to appear on the kitchen floor and persist to this day. The mystery of the ghostly floating faces remains a major challenge for the scientific community. For 500 years, the enchanted wolves flooded with dragon gold. Mexican archaeologists have just announced the discovery of a wolf statue entirely covered in pure gold, found in a tunnel near the Zocalo Square in Mexico City. Not far from there is Temporamero, where the ancient Aztec people buried their sacrificial offerings in rituals. With 22 exquisitely crafted artifacts, including pendants engraved with various symbols, arrows, and a breastplate made of thin gold leaves. According to archaeologists, after the 8-month-old wolf was killed, the Aztec priests adorned it with gilded objects and a belt made from Atlantic seashells. Then, the animal was carefully slaughtered and placed on a layer of dry flint, covered with frost above. The wolf faces westward, symbolizing Hishido Parichi, the god of war and sun goddess in the Aztec people's belief system. They believe that wolves will help fallen warriors cross the treacherous river in the afterlife. The golden she-wolf was buried during the reign of King Ohosoro, from 1486 to 1502. This is the most powerful and fearsome king of Mexico, who expanded the empire southward all the way to present-day Guatemala. This object, which looks like a giant sweet potato, is actually an avocado weighing nearly 10 kilograms. The passage was discovered by a grass cutter named Jack O'Neill Key. At the time, he was cutting peat for fuel in the Emmerich swamp of the Irene region. This is a type of food made from cow's milk, with a stronger smell than cheese, and is estimated to have appeared over 2,000 years ago. The preliminary examination results indicate that this block of butter has been here for a very long time, as the tradition of burying butter was still practiced until the 19th century. Burying butter in a bog might sound strange, but this was actually the most effective preservation method in ancient times before modern equipment existed. Without salt, they would spoil quickly, but when preserved in the cool, low-oxygen conditions of the marsh, the butter lasts longer. Sometimes these blocks of butter are packed in paper boxes or wrapped in animal hides. However, this 10 kilograms block of butter had no outer wrapping and was buried nearly 4 meters underground. It is known that this marshland was once a border area adjacent to 3 countries. Such places are often considered sacred lands, where human intrusion is forbidden. Perhaps this butter was made as an offering to the gods, not for practical use. Strangely enough, not long ago, archaeologists discovered several jars of cheese buried from around 400 to 350 BC. After hundreds of years of careful preservation, they remain perfectly intact for everyone to enjoy. However, this is an extremely rare item, so no one knows what it tastes like. Moreover, according to local custom, no one is allowed to touch the offerings meant for the deities. The marks of kneeling. On the western slope of the Rocca Mospina volcano, in the province of West Sata, in the Campania region of southern Italy, lies a small town nestled quietly. Trail of Kai. These ancient footprints were found in a layer of volcanic ash dating back between 385,000 and 325,000 years ago. These people are like rivals scrambling on a slippery rock. They not only left footprints but sometimes even handprints as they clung to the cliff walls to swing themselves down the slope. There is still no definitive hypothesis about which ancient people left these footprints. But most signs suggest this could be the Homo erectus species, also known as a Homo didobicensit. Many theories suggest that ancient people fled from the lava flow of the erupting volcano. But the mineral samples found in these footprints, particularly the sediment from the volcanic crater, further support this hypothesis. The tallest of the three can reach a height of up to 150 centimeters. Homo heidelbergensis is considered an ancient human species with a large physique, standing over 180 centimeters tall and weighing up to 90 kilograms. Some proposals reflect cases of gender dysphoria, between the significant differences in shape between males and females within the same species of animal or plant. In this case, the proportion of females is significantly lower than that of males, with a difference of less than 5%. Archaeologists have successfully excavated a bronze statue measuring 1 meter in height, 1 meter in length, and weighing approximately 150 kilograms. At the Sangxingdui Archaeological Site in Sichuan Province, southwest China, the bronze statue depicts a mythical beast with a wide mouth, a slender body, and 4 legs bearing sharp claws. The reverse image of the beast with the sacred tree suggests that the people of Tam Tin Doi worshipped the sacred tree or regarded it as a divine object. Notably, there is a person in an ao dai standing on the creature's head. Perhaps this person is riding or controlling it. According to reports, since the Sangxingdui Archaeological Site was first excavated around 1986, all animal-shaped ceramics were small in size, with a length of only about 20 to 30 centimeters. Thus, as of now, the divine beast is the largest and most complete full-scale bronze animal statue ever excavated at the Sangxingdui site. Mound of the Dead. This is one of the largest settlements of human civilization and was only discovered in 1922. Mohenjo-Daro was built around 2600 BCE, during the same period as the rise of the ancient Egyptian and Mesopotamian civilizations. Thanks to its location near rivers flowing through fertile alluvial plains, the Mohenjo-Daro civilization had favorable conditions to thrive agriculturally. The structures in this city were entirely built from rammed earth, distinctly different from contemporary cities that typically used stone and soil. This demonstrates that the Yendat civilization had reached a highly advanced level of architecture. At its peak of development, the city had a population of around 35,000, making it the largest urban center of the Red River civilization. Another notable point is that Mohenjo-Daro was planned much like modern cities today, with a well-organized system of roads and underground drainage. The only difference is that this city was built over 4,000 years ago, yet for unknown reasons, Mohenjo-Daro gradually faded into obscurity. To this day, archaeologists continue to study and excavate ancient hieroglyphic seals in an effort to uncover why this city mysteriously vanished so abruptly. 3,000-year-old palace. In the ancient city of Giza, Iran, archaeologists have unearthed the ruins of a 3,000-year-old palace. The palace was built in the 10th century BC, during the reign of King Solomon Chibi Iran. He was known as a wise and powerful king who possessed immense wealth. According to the Bible, during his 40-year reign, King Solomon received 25 tons of gold each year, making him one of the wealthiest kings in human history. He is also credited with turning Iran into a theocratic state. The ancient palace discovered in Iran is larger in scale than most architectural structures of its era. Here, archaeologists discovered Philippine pottery, a statue of a goddess named Adao, along with some amulets and a child's rattle. According to the Bible, it is said to have been destroyed in 935 AD by Pharaoh Shishun, or Shisha. Shisha attacked the city of Giza around the 10th century AD. However, all the belongings had already been moved out. They likely knew about this attack in advance and managed to relocate most of the items to another secret location in time. Here are the natural English translations for your options. Archaeologists have discovered a sophisticated communication device dating back approximately 1,200 years at the Shenzhen archaeological site in Peru. This is considered evidence of the development of the Chimu community, inhabitants who lived along the coastal region of the Mochi River Valley in northern Peru. The first device was a simple sound transmitter, often used as a popular toy in the 19th century. It consists of two oval-shaped parts, connected to each other by a string. The two elongated domes, each about 9 centimeters long, are coated with a layer of tree resin for preservation and function as sound transmitters and receivers. At the tip of each protrusion, there is an additional layer of netting that functions similarly to a spider's web. The cord connecting the two peaks is made of cotton, measuring nearly 23 meters in length. The earliest recorded studies on the telephone date back to 1833, but in reality, the device had existed more than 1,000 years before that. Although they cannot directly inspect its operation, scientists can still infer how it functions. The next issue to clarify is what the Chimu people used it for. Chimu society had a clearly stratified structure, so this device must have belonged to the nobility or priests. Like a precious object, it can be used to aid new practitioners or facilitate communication with higher levels. Guests can move between chambers and waiting areas without direct contact, thereby enhancing security. Moreover, this could also be a way to flaunt one's power. The voice emanating from a handheld device may surprise listeners and lead them to believe it is the words of a superior or a highly authoritative priest. Dear friend, so the mystery of the 1,200-year-old phone has concluded our journey of discovery today. Among the archaeological discoveries just mentioned, which one impressed you the most? And now, goodbye for now, and see you again soon.